All right. Speaking of the WWE, this is the reason we're here. What did you think of WrestleMania Night 1?
You know, I would say before the main event, I had it at like a solid C, maybe
Yeah.
C plus. I think the main event for me took it to like a B minus, maybe a B.
Okay.
I really did like the main event. A lot of it just felt like it was there. And I had overall issues with the buildup. I didn't think the buildup was great.
Me either.
Really confused at like so the Jade Cargill Naomi match in particular, which I thought was a good match. I thought
Dude,
good.
I really like that one.
So
There's people saying that was like the worst match on the show. I
yeah,
thought it was second best. I like
yeah.
that match.
So my only thing with it was all right. So Naomi tried to murder Jade Cargill. She put her through a
Right.
windshield. All
Yeah.
right. Jade Cargill came back and tried to murder Naomi. She slammed the cage door shut on her head. And then they go out and they had a regular wrestling match.
Yeah.
Like, shouldn't it have been some sort of street fight, last woman standing? And like, maybe you didn't want to do that with Jade's her inexperience. You know, she's still not had that many matches and she's just coming back. But the buildup, you would think, would lend credence to a more violent match, and they just went and had a wrestling match.
Yeah.
That was
I,
kind of
I
my
think
big thing with it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think the story would have warranted more violence.
Yeah,
But that said, like as a match, it was by far Jade's best match. I thought.
yeah,
It they probably because of Jade's limitations probably didn't need to go as long. I feel like it was a rehearsed match and they just tried to get in a lot. And
yeah.
because of that, Jade got lost at times. But Naomi, being the pro that she is, and Naomi is not fucking Ricky Steamboat either, but she's
Right.
much better than Jade. Naomi kind of brought her back a little
Mhm.
bit, and they were able to get some stuff done. I like Jade's power moves. I just
Yeah.
like Jade ain't got to be Ricky Steamboat. You know what I mean?
Right.
She just got to hit some power moves and look cool, and then she's money. That's all you need out of her.
The,
I know everybody is addicted to work rate and slapping your leg and kicking out of bullshit, but not everybody has to be like that. I think the attraction
yeah.
for Jade is she's just a big badass chick that can hit some fucking cool power moves, and she hit one of the sickest like twisting power bomb things I've ever seen in my life.
That was amazing. I just wish she would have remembered that wasn't the finish.
Yes. Yes.
That
Yeah.
was the big like the referee had to tell her like no. Like honestly, they should have just counted the three there. Like don't even make her don't make her get back up and do the move. She went for the pin, just count the three.
Yeah. She's a very much, and I mean this like as a compliment. She is a like a less charismatic Sid.
Yeah,
Like she's got aura when she comes to the room. Like you can tell she's
right.
a star. She's got aura. She likes to hit the power moves, which is cool. But she doesn't have like that Sid psycho Sid charisma that he had. But
Yeah.
Sid would get lost in his matches sometimes too. But he would actually end up having some really good matches depending on the opponent. And I thought the match was really good. I saw some people saying 1 star. So yeah, I was just like, maybe I was watching something different. Then I saw other people saying that the crowd was silent for the match. I was wearing
Yeah.
it. I had my Beats headphones on. I was like, I heard them just fine. They sounded like they enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah, there were matches where the crowd wasn't reacting. That
Yeah.
was not one of them.
No.
Like that
No.
they had a very good reaction, especially the finish there. That power bomb she did, the crowd loved it. So,
Yeah. And
yeah,
she went for the pin and then just got up and then hit her actual finish on
yeah.
her, which was pretty funny, I thought. So if you're like a wrestling purist and you don't like it being a little bit sloppy, which I don't really mind my wrestling matches a little sloppy at times. I think if it's too clean, that's like it just tells me that they're just I don't know. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like meh.
It
I
should be a
don't mind it being a
struggle
little bit sloppy
because the other
sometimes.
person is trying to prevent you from doing what you're doing. So
Yeah.
there should be a struggle and some sense of I'm not letting you do this move.
Yeah. I thought for the most part I liked the opener Gunter versus
Mhm.
Jey Uso, but it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. That doesn't mean they didn't have a good match, but I just thought it would be way more dramatic. I thought the finish
Yeah.
would be far more dramatic than it was.
So
I do like that he submitted him and made him tap out though. I thought that was good.
yeah. So everybody I had seen online through Discord, Twitter, Reddit had they were upset at how fast Gunther tapped out. That's a direct like it was the exact same finish of when he lost the title to Ilya Dragunov at
Yeah.
NXT. He tapped out to the chokehold almost immediately. I'm not gonna say why he did it. That I'm assuming that's something he just that was his decision, the way he came up with it. I've seen people on Reddit say like he knew he was beat, so like he didn't want to sit there and suffer.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. Maybe it's once the bully gets punched in the face, he can't take it. Maybe
That's
that's it.
I think that's it right there, because
Yeah,
they're telling a similar story that they told about Ilya Dragunov.
right.
Except for Ilya is amazing.
Yeah.
And
Like
Jey Uso is not good at all.
yeah, I thought the match was good. There was only two super kicks. I counted. I I count that
No
shit when I
way.
know.
You're
Yeah,
lying. You really?
there were two super
Wow.
kicks.
Okay.
Um, and so I was happy with that. There were more spears than there needed to be. I think Jay speared him like 3 times, and his spears are not good.
No.
And on a
He
weekend where we're going to see Braun Breaker like break 3 people in half, like Jay
Yeah,
Uso needs
and
to
then
stop doing the
you had
spear.
right, and you had Roman in the main event doing all his spears. I think the spear
Yeah,
is super played out.
it
There's only
is.
Braun is the only good spear right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. Well, Rollins did make Roman Spear look great tonight, but he almost killed himself doing it because
Yeah.
he flopped himself back hard.
Yeah.
So like, and some, because sometimes it is on the guy taking the move, because you don't really want to run through the guy and potentially
I
break his
I
ribs. But
I disagree. Goldberg would disagree. You do run through the motherfucker.
right, Jay's just not that explosive athlete to make a spear look good. And
No,
when you
and
got a guy like Braun Breaker doing it, you
right.
just
His spear looks bad, his super kicks look bad, but he's somehow the most like one of the most over baby faces in the company.
he's yeah, he's got a connection with the audience that
Yeah.
very few have.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
not at the level of Hogan. I'm not saying that, but it's
No.
kind of like Hogan. Where like Hogan wasn't a great in-ring technician. He did what he did, but he was over. John Cena the same way.
Yeah, but
That's kind of what Jey Uso is.
here's the difference. John Cena and Hogan were actually really good workers. Right. They ended up limiting what they did because they knew what they did great and they kind of
Yeah.
stuck to that, but they could actually go, right? Like they would send Hogan to Japan and he could like
Mhm.
hang with those dudes. I don't think Jey Uso could hang with those dudes. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I don't know, but I can't deny that the guy is over and it's
Yeah.
organic and it's fun and I'm happy for him. And he's finally the world champion. I don't think it's going to be a long reign, so he should enjoy it while it lasts.
I think
Um,
there's a natural opponent selected for him already.
who's that?
Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, I can see that.
The guy handpicked by The Rock, the guy who The Rock was the first one to announce the big extension. The Rock gave him the gift.
Yeah,
He's the new face of Project Rock, and all of the bloodline stuff that has infuriated Drew McIntyre for the last several years. I feel like that's a natural feud that's going to happen.
yeah, I feel you. Um, so after the main event or after the first match, it kind of like went into like a lull. It picks back up with the Jade and Naomi, goes into like a little bit of a lull again until we get to the main event. So I'm trying to remember the card. What was the second match on the show? I don't have the card in
So
front of me.
the second match was the New Day and the War Raiders, which
Yeah,
that match there was no reaction for.
no, so
No
that
reaction.
like you had Jey Uso had everybody up, and then they killed the crowd
Yeah.
for the New Day and War Raiders tag match. So that match was terrible. New Day is the new tag team champions, though, which I assumed was going to happen.
Yeah.
And so when we get to match number 3, it's Naomi and Jade Cargill, and Jade Cargill gets the victory there. Match number 4. What was match number 4?
That was the Jacob Fatu and LA Knight match,
Yeah,
which I did like. That match did have good reactions, especially like, so I watching the spot, the moonsault into the BFT, like it doesn't actually look that good, but the crowd popped big time for it.
right.
Like
Well,
they bought it.
yeah, and Jacob Fatu is a mega star. Like,
Yeah.
LA Knight is a very limited performer. I wish they would have had Jacob in there with a much better worker, but
Mhm.
LA Knight's super over. So it's like,
Right.
it's like, can Jacob get a really good match out of a guy who's super over but can't really like do a whole lot?
Which you have to do in WWE.
You do,
Like if you want to reach the top, you have to be able to work with the guys who are over but not great. You have to be able to work with the Miz's, right?
yeah. And I thought they had like an okay match, right? Like
Yeah,
nothing to write home about. But the important part was that they got the finish right, and Jacob
right.
Fatu was the new United States champion.
Which I've been begging for the United States title to get younger for like a year, because
Yeah.
it's been bouncing around between like 42-year-old LA Knight and 44-year-old Shinsuke Nakamura. Like that title, especially when the opposite of it is Braun Breaker with the Intercontinental title being 27 years old. It just needed to get younger to build up the younger mid card, and Fatu is the perfect guy for it.
Yeah, I agree. Next was El Grande Americano versus Ray Phoenix. Ray Phoenix replaced Rey Mysterio. I again, I the match, it was good while it lasted. It had the gimmick finish with the metal inside the mask. I thought with the announcement of AAA, I know they're trying to build to something bigger with Grande Americano and like
Mhm.
like maybe mask versus mask match, which is why he didn't lose. I just thought that with the announcement of AAA and the whole thing and Vikingo at ringside, Ray Phoenix's first Mania, they probably should have had Ray Phoenix go over because you can still tell that story.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just want to say, like, kudos to Ray Phoenix. Like, what a professional! Like, and both guys really. This match was not supposed to happen. Those two have never worked together before. Ray Phoenix didn't even have WrestleMania gear. He came out in a hoodie,
Yeah,
or like a jacket. He found out probably 24 hours ago, like, hey, Mysterio's groin's torn. Like, we've got to have a replacement. So that's a big spot to be just thrust in when you've been in the company for like a month now.
yeah,
I thought it was solid, nothing overly spectacular. Given like how fast this match came together, they probably didn't want to go out and do too much. That what was like a 450 moonsault.
that was
That
crazy.
that yeah, I thought that was really impressive. That had to hurt both guys like hell.
Yeah,
But I thought it looked cool.
yeah, no, it looked cool. Like Gable and Phoenix are great. They just did the
Yeah,
gimmick finish, which is kind of like, but that's look, that's what you get in WWE is these gimmick
yeah.
finishes, and so
I
that's
hope
why it's like
that
this.
builds to something later, right? Like I don't
Right.
know what it would be, but I do hope that like something happens with that later.
Yeah, and we'll say maybe it's gonna be a When Worlds Collide. So
Right.
not When Worlds Collide, just that's not Power Man 5000. So just Worlds Collide. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Next match. I didn't see this match, so just but I know that Tiffany Stratton won. So Tiffany Stratton
Yes.
versus Charlotte Flair. How was it? I watched the entrances and then I had to go get dinner.
Yeah, so I thought it was solid. Like if I was to give a star rating, like maybe three and three quarters to like a 4.25 would be the ceiling.
Right.
There was some clunkiness to it,
So
but
three
there
and a
was
quarter out of 7 stars. Got it.
yes. Three and I don't know. I took my math in Mountain Grove. Forgive me.
Yeah. Yeah.
3.75 to four and a quarter.
Okay.
Um, there was some clunkiness to it. It was a lot of Charlotte getting offense in. It was really physical. At the finish, it did look like Tiffany Stratton may have lost a tooth or like chipped her teeth. She had a nasty like mat burn on her forehead, but they did a clean finish, which I appreciated. If you go online, like half the people were saying, man, Charlotte really took care of Tiffany there and really guided her through the match. The other half was, man, Charlotte was really sandbagging the shit out of her, wasn't she?
Yeah.
So I guess it just depends on what perspective you wanted to take.
Right. Well, Charlotte's really polarizing, right? So
Yeah.
she could walk down the street, do something totally inoffensive, and someone's going to be offended by it.
Yeah.
So and look, I mean, look, that's part of her being super successful, her being a bit of a pain in the ass, and her having like 13 facial reconstructive surgeries. Like people are gonna fucking bag on her no matter what. And
Yeah.
so it's just one of those things that she's got to deal with.
If
But
she wasn't Charlotte Flair, I think she would be less polarizing, but she also probably wouldn't have 13 world titles to her name.
right. Well, because they were flipping the title to her a lot because they
Yeah.
wanted to just inflate that number to get it close to her dad's, right? And everybody kind of saw through it, even the wrestlers saw through it. And then
Yeah.
now, and she appears to just be not be grateful. At least that's the way it seems on television.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
and I will say Tiffany Stratton did maybe have one of the best WrestleMania entrances of all time. They did the whole like Barbie boxes, like two of them were videos of her in a Barbie box, and then her in the center coming out of a Barbie box, which she said was an idea she had a couple years ago for NXT, and then Triple H brought it back to her for WrestleMania. Thought that
nice.
was really great, really well done.
Nice. All right. All right. So let's go to the main event. Roman Reigns, CW Punk, and Seth Rollins. Punk comes out being played to the ring by a living color. I thought that was
Mhm.
really cool. He was super over, man. He really was.
Yeah.
It was like I knew he would be over, but he kind of like seemed like he had a bigger reaction than Roman and Seth did. To be honest,
Yeah. The video package for him was really well done.
yeah, they had his
With
old kill
this fire
switch thing.
burns.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
that was.
side note, did I ever tell you I got to see Killswitch Engage perform that song at Soundcheck?
Oh, you did. That's cool.
So the first Rocklahoma I went to, we got there super early. Me, my dad, and Ray Fields for some reason,
Uh,
and
Wait,
they were
he took
hanging.
fucking Ray Fields across the border into Oklahoma.
Yeah, yeah. The story ends really well.
Okay.
Um, so we got there super early. Dad and Ray hanging out backstage where there was shade, drinks, and whatever. And
Oh
I
god.
didn't know what I could do, so I just kind of like walked out in front of the stage. I wanted to see what it looked like, and Killswitch Engage was there doing their sound check. Played that song. Did not play it in their set, so like I felt like they played it just for me.
Chances
Then
are, yeah.
yeah, and then we seen Slash and Creed that night. Went home, got pulled over at 3 a.m. in Joplin. Ray had a warrant out for his arrest, and they
Yeah.
arrested Ray. That's
That's why you don't take those criminals across the border, man. I could have told you how
yeah,
that was gonna end.
yeah. But it was funny.
Yeah. Did you guys leave him there in prison? Like I know he's
Yeah,
back
no,
now.
yeah, no. There was no bail on him. We couldn't like go bail him out and take him home. He had to stay there for a couple months, I think.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice. They should have shipped him to El Salvador. All right.
yeah,
Yeah, all right. So main event. You know what? I'll be honest. Matt Tristo a couple weeks ago texted me. He goes, "Hey, do you think Paul Heyman's gonna turn on Roman and Punk and join up with Seth?" I was like, "Nah, that's probably not gonna
yeah,
happen." Turns out I don't know what I'm talking about. Very much a casual WWE watcher.
yeah,
Because that's exactly what happened, and
yeah.
everybody saw it coming but me, apparently. Seth finally gets the big victory because he's been losing a lot.
Right.
Like no one takes more pins. Like no top star in WWE takes more pins than Seth Rollins. And
Yeah.
here he is. He gets the big victory on WrestleMania Night 1. Paul Heyman turns on both Roman and Punk, and Seth gets the pin over Roman. So that's a big deal.
Yeah, and I think they really need to set up Seth versus Roman one-on-one at some
Yeah.
point. Like Roman has said, and with wrestlers, you never know what to believe, but he said he thinks he's got about 2 or 3 years left before he's done.
Yeah.
It sounds like he wants to move on to other things. He's made all the money in the world. That's a chapter that they really have to close. I I wasn't 100% positive on what Heyman would do, but I could have told you the finish, I think about 2 weeks ago, when Seth, they did a segment. I can't remember if it was Raw or SmackDown, but Seth had one of his flamboyant vests on, like really puffy, but it looked exactly like his Shield vest, and
Yeah.
he hit Roman in the back with the chair. When you know WWE, you know when they're telling you something. And then on SmackDown on Friday, Seth said, "That's not a prediction, it's a spoiler." Almost every single time, with the exception of, I think, one match, every single time that's been said, that's been the outcome. So, like, they'll tell it to you and then just see if you believe it or not. I'm really curious to see where it goes, though, with Seth and Heyman from here. But I
Yeah.
think Seth and Roman have to face each other within the next calendar year.
Well, I think that's the program going forward because I fully believe in we'll see tomorrow, but I think that Cena is going to beat Cody. Cody's going to take time
Yes.
off, and the next program will be Cena and Punk. Punk didn't get pinned, and
Mhm.
then the other top program is going to be
It,
Rollins and Roman.
I would think it'll be Cena and Orton. They're going to do Backlash in St. Louis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah, and
that's
Orton's
probably the
very
match.
likely going to pin Rusev tomorrow, right?
Yeah, Rusev is the only guy I could think of. I'm still holding out hope for Nick Aldis, but why not bring Rusev back and then immediately pin him? That seems like such a great idea. I
Well,
guess you gotta make sure that his allergy to laying on his back for 3 seconds is gone. So it's
yeah.
the best
Well,
way to test it out.
he's coming back to the Fed. It's fucking Randy Orton. He'll do
Yeah,
business for sure. He's not going to say no to losing to Randy Orton.
yeah,
Like he would say no to losing to Sammy Guevara, but he's not going to say no to losing to Randy.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, I got to run, Joe. Dude, this was a very last second idea. I just happened to have like, the house to myself, and I had watched WrestleMania. So I was like, screw it, let's do it. So thank you for being available. Keep your phone handy tomorrow. There's no chance that JD's watching Mania night too.
Right.
So I might need to tag you in tomorrow too. So just keep your phone handy.
All right. Just let me know.
All right, man. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us this time. So stay tuned. So this was just a special, like, random edition of Overtime with Mike and Joe. I need to make sure I get the labeling correct, but I went live on Twitter and YouTube randomly. So thanks everybody for being here, and until next time, mahalo.